Hello everybody and welcome to Letterboxd Book Club. My name is Claire.
And I'm Mackenzie.
And today we will be discussing Manacled.
By SenLinYu.
Our final week of Fanfic February.
Woohoo!
What a ride.
Also, disclaimer, I'm fighting for my life against the coldiest of head colds. So if I sound funny, then that's why.
Yeah, and this is a take two for reasons.
Oh yeah, also for technical difficulties. This is a take two, which are always fun.
They are fun, but you're never going to match the original vibe
I know,
of the
but
first
it's also
recording.
good because I forgot to say something that was really important in our first recording that now I'm going to say in this one.
Alright, cool.
Anyway, I will start us off because this is on Goodreads.
Yeah.
So I will start us off with the Goodreads thing. It has 4.7 stars, so...
Yeah, it's poppin'.
Oh, sorry, I opened it at 4.66.
Oh, good day.
Alright. Harry Potter is dead. In the aftermath of the war, in order to strengthen the might of the magical world, Voldemort enacts a repopulation effort. Hermione Granger has an order secret, lost but hidden in her mind, so she is sent as an enslaved surrogate to the High Reeve to be bred and monitored until her mind can be cracked.
Lovely. Short, sharp, succinct. Every book, or even Goodreads description should be that perfect. Nailed it.
We're going to talk about some things. But while we're here, I also want to talk about this other thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Because now I am deep in this fanfiction world. Actually, I was kind of dabbling in it beforehand a few years ago. Now I'm back in it. But in one of the fanfictions that I read, at the start, there was a disclaimer that was like, please do not put this on Goodreads without like the author's permission.
Oh, okay, yep.
So that's just an interesting take.
That's a good segue actually into what I wanted to discuss as well, because I saw a TikTok about these two young ladies. I don't know like how many views the video got, but it had like 2k likes. They're trying to drive the point home towards BookTok getting their hands amongst the fanfiction space and like critiquing them as BookTok books and how that is against some sort of fandom etiquette. And I was just trying to get your view on that. Like, how do you feel about fan fictions reaching a level of popularity?
I think you've described this video much nicer than you did in the first take of this, and you have given them some grace because I came hard in the first recording. Let me ASMR the tea.
Delicious.
It's intense. It's like extra strong tea. Because in the video, and I said this in our first recording, that they came across as arrogant.
And very gatekeeping.
Yeah, because it was like, ooh woo, when BookTok come into the fan talk side of the internet, ooh, like, don't comment on things, blah, 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 blah. And then I think I didn't mention this, but I was going to say as well, some of the comments were saying as well, like, when BookTok comes in and they start complaining about the dark nature of the fanfics or whatever, there's trigger warnings for a reason, and it's like, okay, that's fine, and yes, trigger warnings, but also you can still not like something if it's dark. Like, you can still read a trigger warning and acknowledge it and then still be not offended, that's not the right word, but you can still be a little bit like shocked at
the content. Yeah, I just feel like obviously with fandom culture, like, they're not meant to reach the creator of that fandom, essentially. So, like, Manacled, ideally, you don't want J.K. Rowling to see it or acknowledge it or whatever. And I think that's just the integrity that they're trying to protect as well, which then comes off as gatekeepy. But living in a, social media world where the internet is vast and massive and something can go viral without even intending on being viral, that's just something that's happening with fan fictions as well. And also just in general, the fan fictions that are becoming repurposed and into proper traditionally published books and then again into movies.
This is what I was going to say. You can gatekeep all you want, but yeah, fan fiction has now become this really popular part of mainstream media as well. Even if, the vast majority of people probably don't know that it's stemmed as fanfic. But yeah, like, the Love Hypothesis started as fanfic. After, which is now 5 movies and 5 books, started as fanfic. There's another one coming with like Nicholas.
Yeah, I think it's The Idea of You.
Yeah, The Idea of You and like Anne Hathaway or whatever, that started as fanfic. The ultimate fanfic of all fanfics, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really becoming this part of popular culture.
Yeah.
And also, we shouldn't gatekeep literature. Because
fair enough.
just because it's on a digital medium platform, it doesn't mean that it's not a real book. Like, we got sent an ARC as a digital link, and some people got the real book or whatever. Just because we got the digital version doesn't mean it's not a real book.
No.
And it comes across as like, you can't read that, like, you can't sit with us.
Yeah.
And the only time that I've ever told someone you can't read that is when a teenager went to read Icebreaker.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah.
And I was like, no,
that is
not for your eyes.
That's just for age-appropriate reasons, not because of any dark themes or comments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just think book talk, fanfic talk, I don't know what it is, fanfiction.
I don't know.
Everyone, why can't we all just be friends? Why can't we sit around campfire singing Kumbaya?
Let's just...
reading our smut.
Yeah, at the end of the day, everyone wants smut and very traumatized characters. And fanfiction is definitely going to give you that.
Speaking of smut, we're going a bit adjacent to our topic, but have you seen the current bike talk / mask talk fighting over book talk?
What is bike talk?
So motorbikes.
Okay.
Bike riders.
Okay.
And now they're like, bike talk belongs with book talk girls.
I think it must be just for the aesthetic.
Yeah, but because now like these bikers are like, I want a book talk girl.
Why?
For fun. For zoomies.
Okay.
Anyway, if I come across more, I'll send it to you because like I get it.
All right, here's my thing right now. Why do we have to give a title to a specific description niche like rider talk or motorbike talk?
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't.
But
get
like,
it.
I think they've like named themselves that. Like,
sure.
Yeah. And it's like, I would like to be owned by a motorbike man. That's fun.
Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah. F1 is cars.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever the motocross GP or whatever.
It's different again.
Motocross?
Yeah. No. Like, it's motorbikes.
Yeah,
like,
just like motorbike lovers.
Yeah, let me see if I can find one, for example.
Well, just wait. I'm sure once Tessa Bailey gets a hold of it, she's going to have like a motorbike romance soon.
Bike.
No, but just circling back real quick to the gatekeep. Oh.
Anyway, but it's like in the comments.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. So now they're coming together, and there's this bike talk guy who like, maturing is realizing the book talk community belongs to the biker community.
Again, it has to be for the aesthetic and for the when I think of motorbikes, I think of obviously danger and high risk and recklessness, and I think that's the aesthetic that the book girlies want to go for because all their fictional boyfriends encapsulate all of that.
Danger. It's like danger, but not directly at you.
No. Yeah. All right, quickly circling back to the original topic. I think why those ladies posted that is because also doing the rounds was the whole Etsy shoppers selling their own binding versions of Manacled as well, perhaps. Like, it could have been entwined. Because it happened around the same time as well.
And I remember this because, there was another person and they said that, one, just learn to bind yourself or buy... I don't know if SenLinYu has like an Etsy where she does it. But anyway, they said because if you buy bound books, bound fan fictions, then you're taking money away from the original author, SenLinYu. But then also you were saying that, but we're also taking...
money away from J.K. Rowling.
Which is fine, but yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, but as an author, it's like, you're taking because you've taken her creations.
And then made money off of it.
But I don't know if SenLinYu has made money off it.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah.
Because I download, like, it's free to download off AO3.
Yeah, it's just funny how that's just... how that has occurred and snowballed. But I think we talked about this a bit more in the after aspect.
Yeah. After
episode. So I think ultimately fan fiction's going to go viral and pop off and there's nothing that you can really do about it.
Yeah.
But I suppose this is a good example of what you said when there was a fan fiction that's like, please do not put this on Goodreads or whatever, unless the author is doing so. Yeah. And so that gives the power to the author because sometimes they don't want to be perceived either.
Yeah.
They just want to be within their own fandom space.
Yes, but also, yes, which is fine. And also, I like these online platforms allow people to create art because in a way, like, it's a self-published book. Yeah. So without it, we wouldn't have these new stories, these invigorating stories. Ideas. And, like someone writes something and then someone picks that up and is like, oh, I can imagine my whole entire world just with these characters and I'm going to write about it, which is an issue in and of itself as well, which I think I spoke about in After. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we use the example of you.
Yeah. Yeah, of like writing, of fictional characters it's fine, but of real people...
Yeah, it's not great.
No. And then also I'm kind of struggling at the moment because I'm reading a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction where like obviously that the characters that I know, we left them, apart from like the epilogue of 35 years later or whatever, like where we left them they were 18, and like sure that's an adult, but it's like that's a baby to me, so it's hard. And like sometimes they age them up and then I'm like, again, is that morally wrong just because you want them to be able to have like sexual relations, like you've aged them up? But yeah.
Oh, and I think we also discussed that part in After as well.
Yeah.
The minor aspect.
Yeah.
But nah, very good. That's it. Alrighty. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions for Manacled, Kenzie.
You go first because I'm going to find my audio clips that I sent you.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I enjoyed this book fan fiction. Now I'm just, if we call it a book, it's a book, whatever. I enjoyed it. I'm someone who doesn't dabble in fan fiction, so I didn't really know what to expect. That's excluding After and the ACMF point of view now. I thought it was great. It's just the first, dare I say, third of the book where it's very Handmaid's Tale. And of course there are dark themes surrounding this. It wasn't too much to stop reading because like I can handle a lot of stuff. Like it doesn't bother me, but it's just the hopelessness and the despair and brokenness of Hermione and, you know, growing up with Harry Potter. You know, we know the type of like witch Hermione is and how intelligent and strong and smart she is, so it's just hate. It's just sad to see her dim down so much. And as I said, we know how authors like writing broken female characters. Well, fan fiction authors take it tenfold. But I enjoyed the flashback scenes that tied a lot of the story with Hermione's memories together. Like the continuity of it was really good. And then I just enjoyed the epilogue and the conclusion. I thought there'd be a bit more Voldemort presence, but at the end of the day, I'd have to remind myself that it's just the fanfic is based around the Hermione relationship, and like that is going to take the forefront, and their happy ever after is going to take precedence.
I agree with you. It was very Handmaid's Tale, and I've read Handmaid's Tale, and I watched Handmaid's Tale, and again, I can handle a lot, but that was so icky. Just because American society is so close to that anyway, that it scares me. And then, starting this book, I was like, I really do not want to have to read something like this again. Just the pure like it's yuck.
Yeah, it is gross.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it once we got past that. I knew that something was coming because I knew that they ended up falling in love, and I was dreading that they started falling in love through like a sexual assault relationship.
Yeah,
but they didn't. Owies. And again, I really, enjoyed that there wasn't a lot of Voldemort because he's such, I feel like an OP character that, like anything goes wrong, he'll just be like, and
at the end of the day, he's really, truly Harry's enemy as well. So like,
and also I feel like in a weird way, in like these fanfics, he's just like a manic pixie dream Voldemort because he's just existing to like further the plot. I'm going to read my stream of consciousness that I sent to Claire. Also, we all know that I don't read blurbs. And I took this one a step further because I was like, you know what, I'm going to mix it up. And I was like, I'm not going to read the trigger warnings either. Please do not do this.
You fool!
Yeah, you wake up. Please, for anyone listening, if you want to read this book, any book with trigger warnings, please just read the trigger warnings.
To be fair, the authors have to make it aware that there are trigger warnings as well. They have to be responsible in this day and age.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they are all laid out instead of like, there's trigger warnings for this, find it on an external source. Like, just put it in the book. All right.
It's easy to just slot it in the Kindle, but like once the physical book is published, it's like, well, there you go. Yeah. Good luck.
All right, I'm going to read my stream of consciousness. Do you have the trigger warnings or do you want me to get them up?
I can get them up.
Okay. I'm not reading the trigger warnings. I'm going in blind. 11 chapters in and Jesus. 2 hours later, you shouldn't have let me go in blind.
Because it was entirely my fault, apparently.
Then I said, honestly, call yourself our mother. If you know, you know. Then Claire responds with, like, there was other responses, but also I plan on smashing out a chunk this afternoon. And I said, it only goes down from here. And then goes, I've guessed a plot line. I'm on chapter 20 and flashback 4. There's flashbacks.
Me.
And then Claire asked how I was faring with this. I said, I want to die, basically.
Ultimately, it just emotionally destroyed Kenzie, and I love that for her.
This book is ruining me. I also started my period today, so this is just a whirlwind of
that's right. It's so pretty much your emotion.
My period came a week early on top of all of that. So
the timing, the emotional devastation could be 95% accounted for is the period.
Yeah.
So.
And then flashback 29, and I'm sobbing.
There's 29 flashbacks.
80% done, and I can't see this ending well for anyone. And then.
Oh yeah, and then Kenzie left a nice little voice message.
How to be a human anymore. For anyone who couldn't understand that, I cut off the first bit, but it said, I finished and I don't know how to be human anymore. This was after I had uncontrollably sobbed, bent in half for 10 minutes. It's okay, I've recovered. I just couldn't stop crying for 10 minutes, but it's fine.
The bounce back is admirable. Resilience.
So yeah, if that gives you any indication of what kind of book this is. I also went as far as one of my friends has a sad playlist.
What did you do?
No, and I was just like, I need the playlist, please.
I just need to let it all out now.
Yeah, and they said, what playlist? And I said, you know the playlist. And then I got the link. Yeah.
Emotional devastation at its finest.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the apathy in me now or what. I just don't get super emotional throughout books anymore. Although CC3 may be different.
But yeah, so to the book.
All right, trigger warnings.
Yes.
Moving forward. So, rape/non-con, graphic depictions of violence, and then we've got the characters involved. Hermione Granger and Draco Malfoy, and then it's Hermione Granger, Draco, Dolores Umbridge, Tom Riddle, Voldemort, Astoria Greengrass, Graham Montague, Severus Snape, post-war, Harry Potter dies, alternate universe, Voldemort wins. What's so funny?
Just the cadence.
Okay. Forced pregnancy, imprisonment, Death Eater Draco Malfoy, minor character death, memory loss, rape, non-con elements, eventual romance, battle, rape, mystery, healer Hermione Granger. What?
Battle rape. Battle.
Yeah.
Rape.
No, it's battle rape. Self-harm, flashbacks, slow burn, angst with a happy ending.
Yeah, their flashback really deserves their own trigger warning because they were never ending.
Slow build, Draco Malfoy / Hermione Granger, espionage. Espionage is the most innocent thing out of all of this.
I love espionage. Yeah. I just love that word as well. Espionage.
I love espionage, yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to give a quick roundup of the plot. So, yeah, post-war, alternate universe, Harry Potter died in the war. Voldemort has won. Horcruxes are still involved, so he's essentially dying. The only one that's left is Nagini, and a couple of others, but they get destroyed as well. And in an effort to distract from his withering grossness, he's like, I'm going to do Handmaid's Tale. And he's like, because we need to replenish the pure blood lines, or we need to get more Death Eaters. So he's like, I'm going to send out all our prisoners to pure blood households and who have failed to produce heirs, and you are going to be unceremoniously sexually assaulted 5 days a month when you're in your fertile window until you produce a pregnancy. And then in the flashbacks we learn that Draco Malfoy had turned sides and he was feeding information to the Order, but he needed a keeper, and that was Hermione. They fell in love. Hermione got captured at the end of the war, and to protect Draco she put up walls in her mind, so much so that she essentially forgot everything, hence her memory loss.
Her brain is fucked, bro.
Her brain is fucked, yeah. And then Voldemort, it's like, well, you're the last member of the Order, you know secrets, blah, blah, blah. Then there's a few attacks so that they know that there's another Order member out there, and they think that Hermione will know who it is, and it's that, obviously, that it's Malfoy. So she's protecting that so much that she forgot, though, all about their romance, etc., etc.
And during her imprisonment before she was sent off to Draco, she was tortured, isolation, sensory isolation? Sensory deprivation / isolation, so yeah, she's incredibly fucked up, and Dolores Umbridge took it a step too far, and although she wasn't meant to
She hid that Hermione was in prison, she didn't record it.
Because she wanted to, have the glory
seek revenge.
And seek revenge as well.
Yes.
But that got nipped in the bud pretty quickly. Yeah, Hermione's memory is fucked, and Voldemort is banking on pregnancy and all that type of stuff in order to help bring the memories to light.
So they're trying to read her mind through occlumency. Like, the more you do it violently, the more it fucks your brain. So memories can fade forever. And then they have the theory that if she gets pregnant with a baby, then the father will be able to enter her mind, like, gently, because the baby will, like, recognize the father. The father's, like, magic, so then it'll be like, okay, come in.
And
like,
just in general,
you're part of me.
Yeah, and just in general, or the way that it's written, that just magic in general through a pregnancy is a lot more potent, and, like, memories would be able to be restored as well. So that's the thing. There's a lot of, like, weird associations with, like, science and magic working together as well in this world.
And Hermione and all the imprisoned women have these manacles on their wrists, which cuts off their magic, and also, like, makes them
obedient.
Yeah.
Subservient.
Yeah. Keep sweet, pray and obey. Quiet. Speak only when spoken to. Like, you cannot, like, cause harm to yourself. Blah blah. All these things. Although not for lack of trying. Miss Hermione Granger throws her head against the window several times.
Although, I was just gonna, self-harm was a trigger warning. I was just thinking suicide wasn't a trigger warning, but it was just self-harm.
Yeah.
Not that, Hermione tried really hard.
Yes. Alright, I want to talk about my qualms.
Yes.
Because my main qualm was that there was a potion for everything.
Yes, we love a potion.
Just everything, like blood replenishing, like dreamless sleep, anti-nausea, self-lubrication spell, yuck.
That's so gross. Every time Joker had to whip that out.
And then
actually, no, that was more of a spell than a potion, but there was also spells
for everything. Oh, yeah, so Hermione suffers, like, migraines, headaches, extreme nausea, blah, 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 because, like...
Brain injury
and stress and pregnancy. And they're like, oh, we can't give her, like, any more potions because, like, it could affect the fetus. And then there's, like, one offhand comment that was like, oh, you could try, like, muggle methods or whatever. And it's like, give the girl some paracetamol.
She'll be right.
Like, she'll be right, right? My entire pregnancies, I fucking lived on paracetamol. Because that's all you can have.
Yeah.
Because everything else is, like, not recommended during pregnancy, or, like, speak to your doctor before. Ugh.
I suppose that's, like, a thing that could be crossed over is, muggle medication is not seemingly safe for pregnant women, let alone magic pregnant women. But muggle stuff was out of the question. Potion for everything. And there were some exposition dumps or descriptions about how things were made with certain ingredients, like you take this, you take that, like a nasal and blah blah blah, like a claw of sorts. And it's like, I respectfully don't care,
because there was things like from the books, and it's like that aren't like in the movies, and I was like, oh, I recognize what that is or whatever. Ow, which was cool. Sorry, I picked a nasty scab.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, I feel good. All right. It was coming off anyway. That I recognised it, and that was cool. But when, like, Hermione's talking about, like, oh, I have to, like, remember how to make these potions and stuff, so she goes over it in her head. It's like, so she doesn't forget. I was like, I get it, but also, like, why is this an entire chapter of her just reminiscing?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Because also, like, I would have just given up.
Yeah. Like, hope. Or just everything.
Yeah, everything. But also, like,
you can't kill yourself.
So, yeah.
So you just gotta wallow and live in misery. Yeah. You just hope that you get very, very early onset muggle Alzheimer's or dementia and just hope for the best. Yeah. Just pray. And fun fact, I've never fully read the series, the Harry Potter series. Bummer. Only because they were my brother's books, and, like, when we grew up, we just, like, never touched each other's things. So I just thought Harry Potter was his thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which is fine. They do take a drastic dark turn from the fourth book.
I remember... After watching Prisoner of Azkaban, like, I wanted to read it, and then I got to, like, 3 chapters, and that was it.
Even where my family is rewatching them at the moment, because my son is really into Harry Potter.
Love that. Got to indoctrinate him early.
Like, he'll pick up a stick, and he'll go like, this is a Harry Potter stick.
Oh, I've got a good one.
Yeah, no, but he just says, like, Harry Potter. So he goes around and goes like, Harry Potter, like, and he's doing spells, but it's just Harry Potter.
That's so cute.
It's very cute. So we're watching the first and the second, and I, like, maybe let him, but also, like, he's 3, so I'm not sure.
The second one would be a little scary.
A little scary.
Basilisk.
The basilisk. I'm gonna let him watch it 3. Not sure about the other ones, but also, like,
once it takes the more political turn and revolution,
because I'm not sure how much he takes in. I think it's more just like Harry Potter. So we'll see.
Maybe it's, like, also the colourful effects of the magic as well. Just more like that sort of stimuli in general.
Yeah.
That's what he's affiliating with right now.
His brain's like real clicking at the moment.
His frontal lobe, it's working hard.
Yeah, there's things happening. And I'm like,
he is having revelations.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. Fair.
Like, I know people growing up who, like, because I went to a Catholic school, my school wasn't like, they didn't ban books or anything. They were very progressive. Like, we had our principal was a member of the Alphabet Mafia. But anyway, I had friends at that school who, like, hadn't read Harry Potter because they're like, oh, my parents won't let me read it because, like,
blasphemy.
Yeah, it's wizard. And I was like, what the fuck? like,
come on.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a talent that's Harry Potter related.
I do. So every year my family goes on a holiday and we do an annual talent show, and we do a different talent each year. And this year my talent was Harry Potter. And in saying that, it was that someone, like, can bring up the Harry Potter films, and if they, like, hide it from me and then, like, skip to any random part of the film within 10 seconds, I can identify which film it is.
Yeah, that's pretty intense though.
Yeah.
But yeah, well done.
Thank you.
One day, we'll put it in action.
Yeah. I have the video of it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. You have evidence.
Actually, but I think James is in it, so I won't post it.
Yeah, fair enough. Gotta protect him.
I have to do it again, yeah.
Yeah, all good. Sorry for the sidetrack, but it is what it is.
Also, James is not named James from Harry Potter.
No. Just so we're clear.
Although for a very long time, because I now have a daughter, I was tossing up. I was like, should I name her Lily?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no, it brings me back to the days where people I know was like, my daughter isn't named after a Pokemon, but she's named after a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, the way you were spelling it.
Yeah. It's like, it's not, but online he'd spell it the Pokemon way, but her name is not spelled.
I know other people who have come across, like, Harry, like, who are teachers or, like, early educators, and they've come across Harry Potter names, but I haven't yet.
Yeah.
There's some weird names out there in the child care.
I'm sure we're going to get a Katniss eventually.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, I know that there's Hermione's out there.
Maybe just not like Australian baby naming culture.
Yeah. Hermione.
Hermione.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Manacled.
So yeah, ultimately, Hermione is set to be a surrogate for Draco's heir, etc., etc. Fun times.
And she wasn't getting pregnant. She didn't get pregnant for like 5 months there.
Which was sus. Unless she just has really poor fertility just from the trauma, which is fair enough. Which I didn't even think to consider last time.
I was just like, this is sussy wussy. Anyway, and then we head into the flashbacks, and immediately I knew that Draco was the final member of the Order or whatever, because through love all is possible. And
it's a book about their relationship, so of course they're going to come together at some point.
Yeah. So Hermione, after school, or like when the war broke out, they needed more healers, so she was sent off across Europe and then to Egypt, etc., to study healing. She became, and also Severus taught her to become a potions mistress. So she's very adept in her skill. She became a really great healer, blah, blah. While in Egypt, the people there granted her a very powerful item called like the Heart of Isis. Not sure on the intricacies, but it like draws out dark magic.
Yeah, it makes the soul pure again.
Yeah, anyway, it was intended for Harry. But Voldemort starts becoming sus of like Draco because during the war I felt like some things aren't happening fast enough, blah blah blah.
His role is being compromised, and it gets to a point where he can't really play both sides because he's failing as the High Reeve as well, and so he has to be punished in a way as well. Yeah.
So he like draws all these runes into his back and stuff,
dark magic
runes, which are like corrupting his very essence. And then Hermione uses the Heart of Isis on him, so that he's fine.
So like he can have the dark magic, he can wield the dark magic without it ultimately corrupting him. And we learn a lot through Hermione's character, how her friends kind of view her and how she felt so kind of isolated from her role in the war.
Always in these fanfics, like Ron and Harry are just depicted as assholes towards her.
You have to.
And I get it's because it's to push the narrative of like she's fallen into Draco's arms or whatever.
Yeah.
But like they can they can still be nice and just have like assholey outbursts. They don't just have to inherently be assholes.
Yeah, Hermione was kind of resenting Ron and Harry because being the healer, she is dealing with the dead on a very consistent basis. But then Harry and Ron are receiving the privilege of being able to grieve the people that they've lost.
So there's this motive that always comes back to like Colin Creevey dying or whatever, because he was the first one like brought to Hermione to like try and heal, and she obviously couldn't save him, and then Harry was with her, and because he's like, I was there too, but Harry like was granted 4 days off from like war efforts to grieve that first loss, whereas Hermione was just brought like more,
she just had to push on,
more injured and more dying, so she was never granted the time to grieve. And then she like goes out and goes foraging for ingredients and stuff by herself, because that's like the only time that she kind of gets
bit of solace,
and like she has Severus to like talk to, but she doesn't really have friends.
Like the main trio that we know and love in the books, in the OG books and the movies, it's far gone.
And because she says to them, she's like, we like disarming spells aren't going to do anything anymore, and stunning, like they're shooting to kill, we also need to shoot to kill, or like severely maim. And then they're like, no, like light is good, like light will, like we have to do light magic, like blah blah blah. And Hermione's like, well then you're gonna die. Like,
she became a huge advocate for the use of dark magic, because you know the enemy is out to kill you, and if you're just trying to imprison everybody, then like just for the sake of morality, like it's not going to work. And so constantly Hermione's advocating for that, and that's turning all her friends and everyone not against her in the means to like imprison her as well, but it's just
they're scared of her.
they are scared of her and her morality, because she might just
because dark magic like comes at a cost, which we find out later on as well. But also during this, obviously Harry and Ginny are like together but like fucking. Anyway, Ginny becomes pregnant, so Hermione sends her off into hiding, and then this whole like catalyst that like sends this plot forward is that like Harry is dead, the order has been captured, and then Draco is like, well Hermione, you got to get out of here, like we got to go. And she's like, well you have to save Ginny, because she's been taken to, there's a facility in Sussex where like they're creating new spells and stuff, which I thought was cool.
The Voldemort
was a cool
crew,
aspect. It's like, oh, like you can just create magic.
There's a constant stream of evolution, and it's not just the same things.
Not just Expelliarmus. Anyway, so she's been taken there to like be experimented on or whatever, and Draco like goes and gets her out, because Hermione's like, I'll do whatever you want if you go and get her.
It was kind of a baseless sort of bargain. With once Draco fulfilled it, like then it became like an actual bargain and a promise. She's
like, I'll do whatever you want if you get Ginny out. So he did, but then there was like, he had to like kill a bunch of people or whatever, and he's like, there's records that I was there, like they're going to know, like I've been compromised, blah blah blah. And she was like, well fuck that, I'm gonna save you, because she has a horrendous people pleasing streak.
Don't we all?
So she builds a bomb and goes and blows up Sussex, goes and gets herself blown up.
And so I built a bomb. Our school is Vietnam.
And then that's how she gets captured.
She's built a couple of bombs as well, because there was a mission to rescue some prisoners. I think Ron at Hogwarts, because Hogwarts is used as the Death Eater prison.
And a lot of it is that like they don't believe that it was her because she's a healer or
like
whatever.
She's not capable of such a thing. Like it's Harry, or if it's someone else.
Like towards the end, like she's getting her memories back and stuff, so we find out that Draco did get Ginny out, because a body was brought in, like it was a redhead and disfigured, so everyone assumed that it was Ginny. So Hermione thought Ginny had died, so like it was all for nothing. But then at the end we find out that Ginny did get out, and she has had her baby. She's in a safe house. Baby's name is James. So Draco fulfilled his promise, got her out, kept her safe. So then then that's still like you said, you do whatever I wanted if I got her out, and I got her out.
It's described as unbreakable vows without the actual like ceremony of the unbreakable vow. Like, I will do this, and if I do this, then you will do what you said you were going to do. Alrighty, and now we are joined by our favourite guest, Penelope.
You hear some heavy breathing.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to contribute?
Just the heavy breathing.
Okay, thank you.
I concur. And so throughout the development of Hermione and Draco's relationship, for the Order and attaining all sorts of information and espionage, there are montages where Draco is training Hermione in dueling because, again, she
hasn't fought for 2 years.
She feels so set back as a healer that she really doesn't have the grunt or the grit in her to duel. So they do some duel training. And I liked there was a little montage of them treating dueling like dancing. So, like, they taught each other how to dance.
It had a waltz. It was so sweet.
It had a waltz, yeah. So cute.
Yeah. I love, and I think I've read this before or something where, it's like fighting is all about dancing. And I just love the comparison of, like, beauty versus, like, darkness. Like, dance,
yeah. Any sort of fighting is always, kind of described as a dance between two people. But then eventually, of course, they fall in love.
I want to talk about though because she was Draco's handler or whatever. So Alistair Moody and Kingsley Shacklebolt said, do whatever you can to make sure he stays on our side or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
So essentially they hoard her out.
Yeah.
But then they were shocked when they developed feelings. And it's you told me to do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then they had sex or whatever, and then there was a moment because they'd been meeting up in this shack, and so then the day after they had sex on the floor or whatever, Alistair Moody came or whatever, and he saw the blood spot or whatever, and I'm so over this fucking
you hoard her out, and then she actually did it, and now you're mad.
Yeah.
They wanted ultimate control of Draco for his loyalty because he's sitting on the fence. They don't know which way he'll go ultimately, but so they really wanted him to be swayed under really Hermione's control.
Oh, yeah.
What was funny throughout reading all these flashbacks, because there was 30 plus flashbacks, is imagine waiting for this fanfic to update week by week, and it's another flashback, and then it's another flashback, and then it's 20 flashbacks later. There was a chapter where in the author description it was, if you have completely forgotten about the first, 20 chapters, here's the link to go back and read a recap, because obviously week by week you're forgetting what the whole point of.
And then I saw because it was at the end it was here's a summary of the first 25 chapters, which is the Handmaid's Tale aspect of it, and then I had read just comments and stuff across the platforms of media, like TikTok, Instagram, blah blah, of some people read the flashbacks first and then did the first 25 and then did the last whatever it is, and they said that it was too juxtaposing, and it's well, why'd you do it that way?
Really? So they got mad at their own actions.
Wow.
Understandable if you want to embrace the continuity of it as well, because as I was reading, because you finished it before me, you're there's going to be some sentences that are going to be repeated, and of course because the small glimpses of memory that Hermione had in the Handmaid's Tale part, it obviously came up again with the full context of the scene, the scenario, who she's talking to, blah blah blah. But I did really enjoy that. Again, I just like an unraveling, and I like a memory loss situation. And then so Hermione creates a bomb and she blew up Sussex. And so moving on from the flashbacks, Hermione, we're back into the present time.
Hermione has a massive seizure because of life. And then all her memories come flooding back. And so then there's a big plan to get her out of there. Snivelous Snape has helped Draco. They're going to get her out. They're going to get her to the safe house. Hermione, because she's a fucking idiot, is I'm not going anywhere without you. I've just got my memories back. I love you. You're coming with me. He's I can't. The dark mark, blah, blah, blah. She's I'm going to cut off your arm.
Oh, yeah, and that was the whole subplot, was that Draco himself was trying to remove his dark mark permanently.
And then Lucius Malfoy is just a sadistic piece of shit.
I can't,
and he comes back into it. He's torturing things and people. And
essentially Voldemort hired him as High Reeve 2.0 because Draco is astronomically failing.
And so then the portrait, so Narcissa is dead as well. She was tortured to death.
That's also a big plot for Draco.
But her portraits are obviously still in the house, and then so her portraits talk to Lucius, and then she's don't be a fucking cunt anymore, help them. And so he stages that they all got blown up at Malfoy Manor, and so they all managed, Lucius dies, self-sacrifice, but Malfoy and Hermione managed to get out and get to the safe house, and then managed to find Ginny.
And even just before that, Hermione managed to cut off Draco's arm. And there was a nice little warning about the grotesqueness of that and description of that scene, which I'm fine with.
I liked it. I'm fine with the surgical aspects of
the amputations.
The amputations, that's fine. And Hermione makes him like a prosthetic, which is cool, like different ones, and so he's like
ever
can control
evolving.
them. Yeah, ever evolving, which is fun.
He can shoot magic just from the fingertips.
Yeah, and then they have a daughter, Aurora. Don't know why it couldn't just be Aurora. Anyway, and Ginny has James.
And then that's kind of where it ends. And then there's 3 epilogues, all spanning a handful of years. And then there's a big jump towards the end.
Yeah, so first of all, we should talk about... In the ultimate move, Ginny is the one to defeat Voldemort as well. She goes and does the old Avada Kedavra.
Yes, she uses the dark magic that she
was against.
Against, and hated Hermione for ever bringing it up. More so to avenge Harry and Ron and all her loved ones.
And her entire family.
Yes, yeah, because they were strung up pretty horrifically as well.
Yeah.
And paraded around.
Yes. And then, Malfoy and Hermione just decide to, like, stay in this safe house, like, in an undisclosed location. They polyjuice themselves, or, like, glamour themselves sometimes to go out into the Muggle world. They wanted Aurora to go to the New Zealand wizarding school, but she wanted to go to Hogwarts, but she ended up going to the New Zealand one because they didn't want to, like, expose themselves.
Yeah.
Then it's like years later. Oh, and also, it's like years later or whatever, and she got a job at Gringotts, which is fun. And so she goes with Ginny and James to like Diagon Alley and stuff. And they run into Angelina, who they knew at school and then throughout the war and stuff. And Angelina goes to call Aurora Hermione.
Yeah.
And then Ginny is like, oh no, like it's just like a distant one of our relatives or whatever, like something black.
She just bullshitted away. Yeah. Or her...
I think she said black, and then someone...
alias, yeah.
And then someone's like, oh, like Regulus's daughter or whatever, like assuming that Regulus got away, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And then like her and James, like it's kind of hinted at that they're going to have a romance.
Yeah, which would be awkward if you're telling people that she's a black.
Yeah. Yeah, because Malfoy is a black.
Wizard incest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Malfoy's are cousins with the blacks.
And we thought the Fae were gnarly. The pure wizard
the pure
blood are just as crazy.
Anyway, and so obviously, like, Hermione and Malfoy have kind of, like, clued Aurora into what happened, the true history, etc.
Yeah. But then they've seemingly erased themselves as well because they're in hiding.
Yeah, so, obviously, because everyone assumes that they died in the Malfoy Manor fire attack. And so they come across, like, a history book or whatever. And then it like details everything that like Draco did.
Yeah.
And there's a photo of Harry, Ron, and Hermione at one Christmas, and we learn about like this in one of the flashbacks or whatever when the photo was taken. It's quite sad. And then underneath, like it says Hermione Granger was like an inactive member of the Order and she did not fight. And that's like when I lost my shit. Yeah. And then I also kept seeing that sentence like over book talk and everything. It's like when you're reading the book and then you get to this sentence. So I thought it was going to be like way earlier or something, but it wasn't. It was like the final sentence because she wasn't inactive.
No.
Like she is the catalyst for everything.
Yeah,
like she saved Ginny. She like made sure that like the secrets didn't get out. Like
exactly. She was
out there healing everyone.
Yeah, she was trying her best, and she created the bombs that rescued the prisoners from Hogwarts, and she saved Malfoy's ass. She was completely undervalued, underappreciated, and not celebrated ultimately, and that's shit.
And I understand like that, like she did not fight or whatever, but I don't know why they couldn't have had a section about like all her healing, because people like it was common knowledge that she was a very adept healer, and like was doing all this great stuff for healing and the war effort. Yeah,
but I think ultimately it's just her advocacy for the dark magic is probably what turned people away from her as well. Yeah, it's like how else do you add to a already seemingly broken character is just to make sure their efforts and their trials and tribulations are undervalued and underappreciated and borderline erased. But so long as Hermione doesn't really find that book, I'm sure she'll be fine. Yeah. During the epilogues as well, it's like her memory is just absolutely fucked, and like she's constantly writing notes about certain events so she can recall them again, and all that stuff. So she pretty much has like onset wizard Alzheimer's, not to an extreme degree.
She has like most of her memories, but there'll be some things that she can't remember, and she'll like write it down, and then a few hours later like she'll reread it and can't remember it. So there's some things that she remember. It's from all
her brain, like, and trauma.
Are you actually shitting on me right now?
You know, there was a particular scene that broke my heart. It was when Aurora and James were fighting over something, over a ripped page, and Aurora screamed, but then Hermione ran and grabbed a knife because she thought that they'd been found out. Yeah. And that's when she realised, like, she's never going to feel safe in this world. Yeah. Despite being presumed dead.
Yeah.
Like, she's always going to think someone's going to be on her tail.
Yeah.
And I think just in general with her being, captive, or Malfoy's captive in the beginning as well, she just has no sense of safety.
Yeah.
I liked that Dr. Stroud got murdered by Draco, even though Hermione was begging him not to do any, like, Dark Reeve shit. But it's okay, that had to be done, because, I thought Stroud was going to be, like, one of the good guys, like, also playing the Voldemort field. Because how could she not get suspicious that Hermione couldn't get pregnant for 5 months? Like, surely after, 2 months, he'd be like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah.
But she allowed that sort of leniency. But also ultimately fucked up, because then she doesn't care about the well-being of these women. She just wants them to be well-mannered surrogates. And it's just so gross.
She just wants to better the pure bloods.
Yeah. And then the assault of it all is just gross and not overly descriptive. Like, it happens... It's not even entirely descriptive the first time it happens, but then it just becomes the routine part of the book, and so you know what to expect and when to expect it. And so you never have to read the grape stuff too intensely, which was good.
I don't want to say enjoyed, but I appreciated that. Yeah, it was just like they would have, like, oh, he came in or whatever, and then came for the next 5 nights. Like, it was never, there wasn't 5 sexual assault scenes. We had to read, like, every few chapters.
Yeah, no.
She likes to chat. She won't stop now.
It's okay. Ultimately renowned for... its dark nature, but then ultimately, again, through love all is possible and love wins.
I didn't know much about the dark nature. I just heard that it was like really emotional, like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And then we went into it, and I was like, oh no.
This is a little bit more than we bargained for.
Yeah. She's been waking like 4 times a night, and it's usually when they don't sleep well, they're learning a new skill. And this is her new skill. Yeah. They like mimic what we're doing. She's like, we ride at dawn. You will never take my freedom. I'd like to tack on to the end of this as well that I have now since read Breath Mints and Battle Scars. And if you're looking for like a more not fucking scary or gross or icky fanfic, a Hermione fanfic, I recommend that one. And I am also reading Debt of Time, which is also really good, which is a serious and Hermione time travel fanfic. Do you still have your stars? Stars that listen.
The Stars That Listen is a segment on this podcast where we pluck a 1-star review and a 5-star review from Goodreads, and we start with the 1-star review because we want to end on a positive note with a 5-star review, and don't come for us because Manacled is on Goodreads and that's not our fault. Alright, and we didn't search too hard for these, so these could pop up very easily, or you can come across them yourselves if you're an avid Goodreads user.
Yeah.
Alrighty, this 1-star review. DNF. I do not understand the hype for this one. It's such a slow, boring read. I couldn't get past the first few chapters. Every time I picked it up, I ended up falling asleep while reading this. Maybe just for this week, because Kenzie's looking for her stars, I will read my 5-star reviews as well. We're breaking our mold. Alright. The Harry Potter version of the Darkest Timeline. I could not stop reading. Forgot to drink, eat, and sleep.
Oh my god, I was going to use that one, you bitch.
I've had this for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And then there's like within the same screenshot, I'm sure it's a bigger paragraph, but this is what it says. If you're planning to pick this up, I have only one piece of advice for you. Breathe in, breathe out. Try not to cry, try not to howl at the injustice of it all in the end. And now we wait.
I have arrived.
Alright, Kenzie's 1-star review.
My 1-star is... I couldn't get past chapter 58. This book was the most slowest thing I've ever read, and it didn't even feel worth it. Overhyped, honestly, and guess what? It wasn't even the triggers that got me. I didn't mind those. It was the fact that the book was boring.
Alright. Quick qualm for the comment.
Yes.
And I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, and this was last recording's one as well, yeah.
You get to chapter 58.
You're nearly done, yeah. Alright, and then this is the same as I had last time. It's always, surprise, I cried. And then I found one more. It's like, I will quite literally never recover. And same.
I mean, you've recovered. You're reading 2 fanfics as well since then.
But I don't know, I think this one's going to hurt me, but the other one didn't hurt me that much.
Yeah, Manacled, 6 million hits on A3.
Wow.
300,000 words.
Wow. I remember someone asked me, because I had people over, and they're like, oh, like, what are you reading at the moment? And I just said, oh, I'm just reading a book. Because it's hard when you say, like, a fanfic. Like, some people are like, oh, really? But I'm going to change that. Anyway, and I said, yeah, I'm on page 738 and 80% of the way done. And they are like PDF pages on my Kindle, so the writing is tiny.
Just think the formatting from A3 to Kindle is whack, so it probably isn't really similar.
When I No, it is because when I scroll on my phone on the PDF, it's the same amount.
Alright, I believe you. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you.
Yeah, but still, so that is a page on my Kindle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
It was honestly quite depressing.
Yeah.
Depressing and disappointing up until Manacled.
Yeah.
Because the other two are atrocious. But anyway, check us out on the Instagram, link in the bio, Instagram and TikTok. You'll find us in other places. Next week we'll be delving into more magic with Divine Rivals.
Woohoo!
Exciting. So yeah, catch us next week for Divine Rivals.
Bye.